I'm Andrew of Machine Art Moto, and I'm going to demonstrate how to install the X-Head LC cylinder guards on the R1200 GS and Adventure, and it also applies to the new RT model as well as any future applications of the water-cooled engine. Included in the kit is a pair of X-Heads, and each side is made of two parts: the protective nylon outer shell and a thermoplastic rubber liner that fits in between the shell and the valve cover. Also included is one additional T25 Torx screw per side. And included is a 3.5 millimeter longer T50 Torx bolt to replace the stock bolt that is removed from the cylinder. And the reason for that is to compensate for the extra thickness of the X-Head material. Now, they come packaged with the rubber liner in place, but you'll notice that there are locating pins on the inside of the shell and holes correspondingly on the rubber liner itself. So that is your indication for position. We're going to turn it around, and the tools you'll need are a T25 Torx driver to secure this screw, a socket wrench with a T50 insert, and also a torque wrench set to 10 Newton meters. That's a very important part of the last step. The first thing we're going to do is remove this existing spark plug cover. It comes off with just one screw. Then we're going to remove this T50 bolt, which is one of three bolts that holds on the valve cover itself, and that is going to be replaced by the longer T50 bolt that is supplied in the kit. So I'm going to remove this spark plug cover now. And set it aside. We're going to save this screw. And we're going to remove the T50 bolt. Now, behind the bolt head is a cup washer and a rubber seal. And that seal helps to eliminate oil seepage from the X-Head. So it's very important in the next step to install it properly on the X-Head itself. This takes a few turns. Now, because of the rubber seal inside, you're going to need to tug at it a little bit to come off. And you can see that there is the cup washer just inside the head and a seal, and there is a ball at the end just prior to the length of threaded bolt. So, in order to install this properly, we have to pull off the rubber seal. Make sure the orientation remains exactly the same when we reinstall it with the X-Head and the cup washer. So we're going to set them down in the same orientation. You'll pick up the X-Head and insert the new longer bolt. And on the inside, we're going to put the cup washer with its flat face toward the inside first, then the rubber seal in exactly the same orientation as we removed it, over the threaded portion, over the ball, which takes a little bit of push. So now you can see the relationship between the bolt, which has been inserted through the outside of the X-Head, the cup washer, and then the rubber seal just beyond that. First thing to do is make sure that the rubber liner has not shifted, and we're going to place it loosely over the cylinder head. Until it nestles comfortably in place. and your bolt is going to stick out a little bit. Now we have to re-thread this into the boss that's cast on the inside of the cylinder itself. It may take a few tries to catch the thread. There, we've caught it. It's screwing in by hand first. And then we'll screw it on, but don't screw it on all the way yet. Just snug it up enough so that we can then install the remaining 2 screws. The next screw is going to go in underneath. There is a boss cast into the cylinder that is difficult to see, and you may have to lie on your back in order to position it properly so you don't cross-thread it. I'm going to do that now. Because we're still loosely applied, we have the ability to move this around to carefully align the hole in the X head with the boss inside the cast cylinder. Now that we've loosely installed the bottom T25 screw and the big T50 screw in the rear loosely, we're going to install the last of the T25 fasteners. Now the reason the others have been installed loosely is to allow you to align the holes between the X head and the cylinder. So you can see that this is movable slightly since everything is loose. It aligns now. I'm going to start with my fingers. There. And we're going to take our Torx driver and continue to bring it home. So now that we've installed the screw back at the front, the new screw that we've added in the kit at the bottom, we're going to do the final tightening of the large T50 Torx screw at the back. It's cinched down pretty well already. A few more turns with the torque wrench set at 10 Newton meters will take it to completion. There, torque wrench is clicked. It's finished. Check the other 2 just one more time. You don't need to over tighten it, but it does need to be firm. So in terms of care, soap and water works, as well as Armor All very well if you've got some rain stains on it. At the prescribed services, this must come off, of course, for a valve check, and it's a good time to clean up the cylinder because there is going to be water and dust accumulation on the inside. So that's part of the periodic maintenance required. We're all finished. After you do the other side, ride carefully.